What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope today I'm not getting copyright strike because my neighborhood likes to keep fit and they are holding currently an outdoor workout and they're playing very loud music, so if there's anything on the background, that is what it is. I'm sorry. But anyway, today we'll be talking about mentorship, which is such an important concept, especially when you're in the beginning of your career, but obviously throughout any role that you have in your entire working life. Mentorship can be so beneficial and such a powerful tool to achieve what you want in your career. So mentorship is traditionally defined by guidance that is delivered by someone who is usually more experienced, either in an industry or a workplace or in an educational institution. But a lot of the times I feel like we take a too narrow view of what mentorship actually can look like, especially now during the lockdown, when finding a mentor that can sit down with you face to face for an hour or two to just discuss your career is actually quite hard. We have an entire class of students that are graduating into a completely unprecedented situation where traditional mentorship is not available as it used to be. So how do we find mentorship in a very unusual time where we can't really meet up with people? When we're forced to physically distance from one another, how do we share experiences and learn from each other? Luckily, the pandemic and the precautions for it are not the first that we're living right now. It's also the first time in our history where we're more connected than ever and there are more opportunities to get mentored than ever. And it's not that the technologies that are enabling this just appeared out of nowhere when the pandemic started, but maybe the situation is going to help us appreciate them a little bit more going forward. Mentorship can be so much more than just sitting face to face with someone with more experience than you and discussing your career. And I'm not saying that there's no value in that. I am a huge fan of long-term mentorships and relationships that you build with someone more experienced over a period of time, but it's not the only way to gain mentorship, and I think highlighting the other opportunities out there is more important than ever right now, which is exactly why I wanted to talk about 7 different ways to get mentored in this lockdown situation that are available to you right now. Number 1 being probably the most underrated mentorship concept that there is, which is peer mentoring. I think the reason we don't really think about this so much is the natural occurrence of it. Whether it's friends or colleagues that you work with, you're learning from them every single day. But taking a more conscious and intentional approach to this can actually really supercharge your career and help you get to wherever you need to be faster than you even thought. Whether you're still in college or already working, you probably have friends or colleagues that are working on projects that interest you. Use the network that you already have. You don't need to find mentors that you don't know in order to be mentored. I think finding people that are 2 to 5 years ahead of you in the career path that you'd be interested in going on is probably the best thing that you can possibly do. And not only asking for their advice on how they got there, but actually offering to work with them. Not only will you learn directly from that person, but you'd also see what it would look like for you to go down that career path in the future. By offering to work with people, you're also helping them achieve their goals in the process, and you're making the exchange a lot fairer and more sustainable for the person that is agreeing to mentor you. The second one might seem really obvious, but still people keep telling me that they can't find sources of mentorship in this world where people are literally distilling decades of experience, spending years on writing them down in books, and you're telling me that you can't find ways to be mentored. Shut up! There are books on any given topic on this planet, and within hours you can absorb experiences that have taken people decades to accumulate, and that is one of the most underrated resources on earth. I know that it takes time, and if you don't want to sacrifice your precious Netflix hours every night to actually pick up a book and spend 30 minutes reading, then pick up Audible or another audiobook provider. I'll link Audible down below. Seriously, pick an audiobook per month that you listen to whenever you're doing housework, whenever you're doing chores, and just 2 birds, 1 stone. Your housework is going to be a lot more fun because you're listening to something interesting and learning while doing things, and at the same time, you don't need to sacrifice hours of, watching Tiger King. Or during this lockdown, if you're going for that run, if you're going for that walk, if you want to get out of the house, audiobooks, my friends, audiobooks. It's so easy and you don't even notice that you're actually reading. And if audiobooks are a little bit too dry for you, if you long for listening to conversations because you can't have enough right now because you're not seeing your friends, take up podcasts. Seriously, there is someone currently researching, coming up with all the questions and doing all the work to sit down with the best of any given industry. Seriously, podcasts are so mainstream right now, and you don't even have to do anything else than just lying on your couch and absorb the information while you listen. It's the same as audiobooks. Like you need to do nothing to actually be able to learn from the best by just like laying around and listening. It's a no-brainer, but at the same time, like I don't think would think of this as mentorship. If you listen, if you learn, and if you actively take action based on advice that you get from these people, it is mentorship. That is learning from the experience of someone who is more experienced in your industry. I'll link some of my favorite podcasts down below. Do the same and let's share what we're all listening to so that people can also learn from different sources and find new favorites. Going on another tangent on free resources and learning from other people, online courses are an amazing way to gain from someone else's experience, especially with platforms such as Masterclass, platforms such as Skillshare, where anyone can teach a course and it doesn't have to be a university course. Obviously, you can go on Coursera, you can go on edX and do university level courses, but at the same time people are teaching things like productivity, things like creative arts on Skillshare and Masterclass, and talking about more personal experiences. So if you want to find something like that and not only do very formal studies, you can do that. And they often have forums that are linked to the courses that you can discuss the topics with other people on, and you can just get into a community of learners by just enrolling yourself in a course and finding mentorship that way. Especially in the tech field, things are moving so fast and new technologies come out. There's so much change all the time that picking up skills on the fly is an absolute must. And so making sure that you have time set for yourself to actually absorb new information and then learn is so important. That's also why I just created a video called Data Analytics for Beginners. So if you'd like to learn a new skill and you don't really know where to start, then go into that video. I'll leave the link in one of these corners as a card, and you'll find exactly where to start, exactly what to do, and which technologies I would recommend for data analytics. And so that's just one thing that you can learn, but at the same time, why am I like this? But at the same time, just online courses on any platforms are a great way of gaining mentorship. And I know that people think that blogs are dead, but I don't think so. I actually think that blogs are a great way of getting near real-time written information when books are too long and they take ages to actually write. And so whenever you get a book, it's not outdated, but it's written over a longer period of time, whereas blogs, experts can just basically push out within hours and have a well-informed educational narrative around their specific topic, you know? So for me, blogs are more about getting real-time, very current information on a topic that I'm interested in, and sometimes it's just a bite-sized way to get yourself into a topic before you start exploring deeper. So if you're interested in learning about something like, I don't know, for me, product management, I went on to blogs like Mind the Product and read a bunch of their articles and then started doing courses on the topic when I kind of understood what I needed to learn and what was important in the field, if you get what I mean. So getting mentored can just mean that you browse through a blog of someone who is very knowledgeable about the topic that you're interested in and figure out what they're focusing on and what's important in the industry right now, and then use that to learn more. Overall, how I use blogs is basically to broaden and fueling my own thinking and giving me more perspectives than just my own, much like having multiple mentors would. And I think we're off to number 6, which is social media communities. And this took me such a long time to figure out, but it's so easy. Like on almost any platform, from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube to LinkedIn, you have communities of people that are interested in the same topic as you are, and they're talking about it all the time exclusively, and you can join completely for free. You can learn from what other people are learning, you can encourage each other to learn. And so my complete favorite is the STEM community in Instagram, which is just full of software developers, scientists, data scientists, data analysts, all kinds of people that are working in the STEM fields and sharing what they're learning, sharing what they're working on, their projects, their personal project, how they got into the field, and like everything in between, how they think about things, what skills you need to learn. And so joining a community like that can be hugely beneficial, because that way you're basically just gaining information completely for free from your peers. So it's kind of like peer mentoring, but you're not necessarily working with them, but you're getting so much out of it. And it's so encouraging because people will also want to see what you're working on, and so they're going to give you feedback, they're going to encourage you on whatever it is that you're doing. So I think just going in and joining some of those is not only mentorship, but it's just so much peer support that you can get, that it really keeps you motivated and driven to achieve whatever it is you're trying to learn. The last point I want to talk about is LinkedIn, and sending messages to complete randos over the internet might sound completely crazy, but hear me out. Everyone's on LinkedIn. The people with the jobs you dream of are on LinkedIn. The people that are on their way to the jobs you dream of are on LinkedIn. The people that are the gatekeepers to the jobs that you dream of are on LinkedIn. So why not use it to fuel your own career and figure out how to get to the point where you want to be? And no, don't spam people with your questions just, you know, willy-nilly all over the place, and don't just go and ask someone if they'd like to be your mentor if you don't know them. The answer is in 99 out of 100 cases firm no. But what I would like you to do is consider finding people that have jobs or roles that interest you, and figuring out exactly why you'd like to contact them and exactly what you'd want to know. So being very specific with your questions and approaching them with a ton of humility and respect. And don't be entitled to a response. They might not get back to you, but a lot of people actually do like to help people that are interested in their line of work, and they like talking about what they do if they're really passionate about it. So a lot of the times, if you're humble and you're expressing a very genuine interest in their line of work, and you have something very specific that you'd like to inquire, they might just get back to you. It might not be the longest answer, or it might just be, you never know. Some people are incredibly generous with their time, so that shouldn't be something that you rule out just because you think I can't approach someone that I don't know. Of course you can. You just need to make sure that you're doing it from the right place and with the right intentions, and with an approach that doesn't expect anything from that person and gives them the out of not answering your question if they don't have the time, and doesn't make them feel bad about it. A kind of bonus point for LinkedIn is that it's full of job advertisements, and a lot of the times when we're talking to mentors, we're trying to figure out how to get to a career that we want to get to, or what do we need to learn, what skills do we need in order to get to a particular role. But LinkedIn is already full of that information. So if you're interested in a particular title or a role or a company, go on their LinkedIn site and just scroll through jobs and see what they're looking for. Once you kind of figure out what the most common ones are, learn those skills, try and get that experience, build yourself a portfolio, and make sure that whenever you're applying to those positions, you try and bring out in the best way the skills that they've been saying that they're looking for. You use all the resources that you have at your disposal before sort of giving up on the idea of being mentored just because you can't get the traditional once every week or two, a 1 hour, 2 hour session with someone way more experienced than you in the field. Like, don't get stuck in that idea, because it holds you back. Like, it puts you in this box of thinking that you can't achieve something because you don't have the right mentorship, because you can't get this mentor because of the situation, and you're just sabotaging your own chances of learning so much. So these are the 7 ways that I think you can currently get mentored very easily if you just put in the effort and commit to learning and commit to taking action based on what you learn, because that's the biggest thing in mentorship. You get this insight, but if you don't act on it, if you don't hold yourself accountable to that mentorship and to that advice, then it's not mentorship, it's just someone telling you what to do and you not doing it. So that is my 2 cents on the topic. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content on working in tech, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!